Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back once again to another Total War Rise of Mordor online battle. Today we were taking a look at the brand new update that is going to be coming to ModDB very soon, so make sure you keep a close eye open for that. But in this update they've basically gone ahead and added in the entire new Dwarven faction. It's absolutely amazing. I've already made a video of it, but I'll link it down below in the description. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I recommend you go check it out. But as well as that, they've also added in a bunch of new maps as well as a new kind of balancing patch for the battles themselves, so they should perform a lot better. You'll definitely notice it with the arrow fire in this battle that the archers are firing much quicker, which makes it just much more efficient to bring archers to the battlefield, and I really do like the change to the archers. It's going to make them a lot of fun to mess around with, and I think definitely make the Elven factions very strong as well. So today's battle was taken from the live stream that they did over on their YouTube channel, which I do highly recommend. Again, you go ahead and check out. In that live stream, we went ahead and went through the entire update, so I'll link that down below in the description. And you can also notice as well in this update the new lighting that they've added into Total War Attila, which makes the game look absolutely beautiful. They reversed engineered the Thrones or Age of Charlemagne lighting, I think it is, back into Attila, which apparently was a ton of work, and yeah, it looks great. It looks really cool. You also notice as well the moving clouds above the skies. You know, stuff will get light, but it will get dark depending on the cloud coverage. Kind of really cool to have in the game. But in today's battle, we do have a 2 vs 2. I am playing over on the left with my ally. I'll link all my allies and also my opponents, their YouTube channel down below in the description. I'm going to be allying up with J-Monster, and then up against us we do have the forces of Pope John Paul and also one of the developers as well, Vise, coming in and supporting him. So I'll link all their channels down below. You guys should definitely go check them out. So let's take a look at the forces before we do get started in this battle. Over on the left hand side we have Pope John Paul fighting in the Linden Elves, ready to hopefully bring them to battle and really test out that new change with the archers. I imagine this new change with the speed of which bowmen shoot now is going to make the elves just super scary, able to get through their ammunition and then pull out their swords and then get themselves stuck in. So on his front line he does just have the ton of the new swordsmen. So again, these Noldrin swords are basically the standard front line. There's no real sword and shield infantry for the elves quite yet. I imagine that's a unit that will be coming in the future. But we do obviously have the Shipwright Nobles, which are these guys, but these guys are like the elite fighting force right here, and they're not really a unit that you can spam. I think the limit is 3 of these guys in the battle, so you don't really have like a sword on board, you just basically have that shock infantry. However, they do have the brand new Mordor Nobles. These guys are brand new to the roster, and again, they look great. Just a nice little pike unit for them that can be used to hold the line. And then we also have a bunch of Mordor spears right there, or swords, and then we also have the cavalry as well. The Elven cavalry is pretty strong. You may also notice as well, we're playing on ultra unit scale, and the new battle changes have made it so that the elves are very few and far between. You know, you're not going to be getting these big groups of elven units. I mean, look how small the elven army is. This is like a normal, you know, battle army compared to like Gondor, or compared to me. I'm playing as Mordor. You know, like the elves are going to be very elite, but very few in number, and you can't just rely on them. For infantry units, only 85 man or elves in a unit. So again, you know, like the new changes I think are really fun. It definitely like makes the quality and quantity a real good argument. But obviously the elite quality of the elves will really shine through. Then we have the forces of Gondor. They have a couple units of the Gondorian cavalry that are moving over. We also have some of the princes, coast guards. I always see Gondor bring these guys to help support the cavalry fights. They really are quite good. On the front line we do have a ton of the Gondorian swordsmen. I think there's about 6 units of Gondorian swords, supported by Gondorian archers, and we even have the Citadel Guard as the general unit back there, and a couple units of spears, along with a big stack of cavalry on this other flank. Then over on our side, me and J-Monster, I'm going to be going ahead and using Mordor. So as you can see on my front line, I've got about 4 units of these Orc Warriors, and again, I really like the new addition to the Orc Warriors. I mean, they're so dark. I think with Mordor, they need to go back and redo some of the textures on Mordor, because again, they're just very dark, and now they've got this new lighting in. I think they can definitely brighten these up with some way in 3D modeling. So I think probably when Mordor does get a revamp, they probably will, you know, because again, it does look pretty light. I don't know, I just think they need to maybe do some things in 3D modeling to make them a bit brighter, because this is still just ridiculously dark. But then you got other factions that necessarily aren't. But yeah, I've got a bunch of these new Orc Warriors. I really like these Orc Warriors in this new patch because, again, because there's so many of them, that it doesn't matter that they kind of suck. They can just hold and tie down enemy units, which is actually really good and exactly what the Orc Warriors should be designed to do. Their main goal is just to pin the enemy in place and allow your other units, like I've got right here, the Uruk Throng, these guys to then move in and do the damage and get stuck in along with the axes as well. I've got some Orc Pillagers there. And I've obviously got my Servants of the Eye Cavalry. Again, unfortunately, they did take away the Haradrim Lancers from the Mordor roster, which is kind of a shame in my opinion. Considering you can only have 3 units of the Servants of the Eye, it kind of does suck that you can't have, just because, again, the South-Run Lancers weren't very scary at all. They were very cheap Haradrim Vassal Cavalry. And the fact that they took them away is kind of sucks, It means that you can't go for that sweet spot, I think every faction should be able to have at least 4 of a cavalry, because they're generally the rules for cav. And the fact that the Servants of the Eye can't get that, or the cavalry can't get that for Mordor kind of sucks. But again, when they add in trolls, when they add in more cavalry units, I'm sure that'll be not a problem. It just kind of sucks at the moment that they did remove them. But it is what it is. I also have some of the more Guards of the Teeth as well. This is one of the newer units in the last patch. And again, these guys are super scary as well. Really, they basically do an amazing job in this battle. So a very, very strong halberd unit. Then finally, for my ally on the left-hand side, we do have the Men of Dale. He's going to have a ton of these Watchpost Sentinels on his front line, basically just holding that down. Again, has some Marksmen of Dale volleying off against the Men of Gondor. We even have some Vidalian Swordsmen. Again, Dale is just such a beautiful faction. It's crazy that it's literally one of the first factions and still is just so nice to look at. They really did do a great job on them. And on his left-hand flank, he does have some more cavalry set up with some more Marksmen of Dale. And I also decided to bring down an Uruk Spear unit down here just to basically support my ally as best as I can. So a unit of Uruk Spears down there. But right now, you can immediately already see the speed of which these archers are volleying at. Previously, it would be like 1 or 2 volleys, probably like 2 to 3 volleys a minute. Now they're firing off a volley every 10 seconds or something, which again, obviously makes so much more sense that they are doing that. And it does look really, really cool as well. So yeah, big fan of that change. Definitely a great one indeed. So far, the fighting is erupting. And our main plan in this battle, obviously I'm playing as Mordor in this one. Our main plan was to really try and hit Gondor before the Elves could come in. The Elves were a little bit delayed and they're kind of completely off on this left-hand side. So our main goal was just to really close in here and just deal with this Gondor player, because Gondor's line goes all the way here. So basically this entire front, and then the Elven line is just kind of like right there on the left-hand side, which again, I think is going to be one of the big problems with the Elven formation. They can't really hold a flank because they're so few in number. And I really think if you do just kind of almost ignore the Elves and just focus on the other opponent, you'll do a great job. My ally, J-Monster, doing an awesome amount of damage to these Coast Guards, really focusing down the halberd unit, which is super smart, trying to bring them down. And over on this right-hand side, we have engaged. I was caught a little bit off guard. Again, I can't see what the F is going on in this battle right now when I'm playing it because of the trees, and I don't think even Attila has the thing that allows you to turn off trees, so I had no idea where half my army was in this battle, I'm not going to lie. And my opponent does get a really nice charge off with his cavalry into my Uruk Throng. However, I'm going to quickly be able to get some of my Servants of the Eye into this battle. I'm also going to be engaging right here against some of the Prince's Coast Guard. These halberds are going to be moving in, but again, I don't really care too much. I've got the Orc Warriors here. They're going to be able just to basically absorb the damage. These guys are super cheap, so again, my main plan is just to hold my opponent in line here with the Orc Warriors and then throw all my Uruk Throng, which you can see I'm doing, round the flank to then get into the side of my opponents and do the damage. I also again get a little bit out microed here. My Servants of the Eye get smashed in here by the Gondorian cavalry and I don't really get a good charge off. However, luckily they're Servants of the Eye. I think Servants of the Eye are probably one of the strongest melee cabs in the game. So I don't really have to worry too much about losing this battle. I can kind of almost take that disadvantage of getting charged by the Gondorian cavalry and then still come out on top. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. As well as that, the age-old tactic of engaging your opponent kind of closer to your battle line. You can see how quickly I'm able to get reinforcements to this fight, before my opponent can get his infantry in here. He's moving his Gondor swords in, but obviously I've already got Uruk Throng here to kind of block for that. So I can basically get my Morgul Legion and my other more effective units into the battle, which is very effective. can see us there on the heavy missile from Medallion missiles as well. We've actually been able to break the Prince's Coast Guard, which has been super effective. The Elven archers, as you can see, are rinsing through their ammunition. They are also under heavy missile fire themselves, but yeah, you can see they're already down to like half ammunition, which is yeah, pretty impressive. The Elves get through that very quickly, and you can see they can just decimate units under a lot of volley fire. The Elves are finally making their move on the right-hand side. They are going to be getting a counter-charge there by the Dale Cavalry. However, this Dale Cavalry is no match for the Elves. Even in their smaller numbers, they're going to be able to get in. And yeah, it's a good charge off there by the Elves. A 2v1 into the Dalian Cavalry Regiment. More cavalry moving in as well, trying to chase after these marksmen of Dale. So a good charge off there by the Dalian Cavalry. And Pope is a very good commander, so he's going to be able to get his forces in very, very effectively. And he's even got some Noldrian swords in here as well, which will be really turning the tide of this battle. Even though more cavalry has arrived, the Elves just are you know, going to be reinforcing this position. Pope knows that he needs to win this cavalry fight to win the battle, so a really smart move there. And as you can see, like, the Elven lines have now charged in against the Watchpost Sentinels, but as you can see, like, there's not really a lot to them, you know. Their lines are so thin now due to their small numbers, which means you can really just, like, envelop an Elven army. You know, that Elven army might be able to then fight their way out of that, but even still, it's just a very kind of cool new setup. As you can see, I've got a lot of my half-orc axes pushed through this gap in the battle line right there as my orc warriors hold the line. My main goal is obviously to try and clean up these coast guards as best as I can. Getting the orc pillagers in the rear is going to be awesome. There's a lot of archers here, but obviously I can't deal with them until this cavalry is gone. And a really nice charge there by my opponent, by Vice, for going right in there and just smashing a unit of orc pillagers. Again, cavalry is super deadly, and I was unable to really deal with that. However, due to the fact that he's pulling back, I've actually been able to really win up this cavalry fight. The Servants of the Eye, considering I got a really bad charge off there, are actually, you know, cleaning house, and I'm able to get more of my Uruk spears into this fight again. Gondor are currently fighting both me and Dale along this battle line, whereas I'm putting everything I've got onto this force right now of Gondor along with my cavalry. So I just have the soldiers descend to this cavalry fight, whereas my opponent just simply doesn't have the men descend. And again, I'm Mordor, so I have a lot of numbers. I can really just overrun my opponent. You can see that's exactly what I am doing here. Soldiers coming down the entire battle line. And yeah, the Orc Pillagers in the side are going to be a great setup. My ally has also got some of his Rivermen in the flanks as well to help out with his Javelins. And, you know, again, the Gondor swords aren't really pushing. Like, you know, he's gone into shield wall to obviously give him more protection, but I'm fine with that. These Orc warriors will get cut down if they got stuck into combat with the Gondor sword, so I'm very happy with that. I also managed to get some of my spearmen, my Uruk spears, one unit that I sent over here, into helping out as best as I could against this unit of Noldrian cavalry. Again, there's only 40 of them in the unit, so we really do just need to cut them down as best as we can. However, the other cavalry fights are not looking great. The you know, Elven quality is really shining through, and they're able to really take down a lot of this other cavalry, supported by the shock infantry as well. Shock infantry do actually do a pretty good job if they can get into static cavalry. They just have such a high attack value that they can kind of rip them apart without too much trouble, so able to get themselves stuck in. But you can still see the cavalry is just roaming around right now, able just to charge down these archers who, again, are out of ammunition, so that's a good thing. We got 129 kills. But now the cavalry is just going to have a field day killing them. I do still have my units, Uruk Spears here. They're going to be engaging and pinning down this unit of Shipwright Nobles. Not really going to be standing. But yeah, this Elven cavalry is really a problem because a lot of my cavalry is very depleted. Besides my general unit, I've got a unit of my Servants of the Eye here, which are basically dead. And a unit over here, which is fighting a lot of Gondorian horse, which again, Gondorian infantry, which again will do the damage over time and bring me down. So it's something I'm a little bit cautious of right now. My general is still alive, and you can see I've completely crumbled this flank. I just have so many men that my opponent just cannot withstand the amount of orcs I have on this flank. You know, just really using that weight of numbers, and because, again, Gondor are fighting both me and Dale, I can do this. I'm able to completely overrun my opponent's lines and push down, which is really, really effective. We do obviously have to still deal with all this cavalry. I'm sorry, all of these. I don't know why I keep on calling the archers cavalry. We still have to deal with all these archers who are, you know, still around. They're out of ammunition, which is a little bit annoying. And now we have to start worrying about the elves coming in. A really nice move here by Pope by just kind of bringing in his archers. Now they're out of ammunition. ammunition, lobbing them into battle to get some extra kills, which is a really, really smart move. And that cavalry roaming around, you can see that they've got some decent amounts of kills on them if we take a look at them. Not even that many kills on these bad boys. Surprising. I mean, yeah, one of them is 150, which is good. This other one only has like 50 though, which is, yeah, not perfect. Able to get another good charge off though into the Dales and Marksman. Not the worst thing in the world. There's also a really good volley onto these Mordor Nobles as well. Obviously the javelins are going to be perfect at killing these guys. Unfortunately, pinned in now, the Mordor Nobles will rip them apart with their skill with that blade. No real retreat because they've got the cavalry in the back of them as well. So I suspect that this group of soldiers are going to break in pretty quickly. However, Mordor are coming flying in now. I've managed to basically break a large amount of the Gondorian archers, just sending them to the dirt, and my Morgul legions are now pushing on further and further forward. The Orc pillagers doing some pretty decent job. This one's got 83 kills, which is, yeah, very nice. And basically I'm just pushing down. I think one of my units of my guards of the teeth did actually get hit by a charge, unfortunately, but then I do get my halberds down and make quick work of these elven archers. You can see the guards of the teeth now up to 118 kills. They're a really, really strong unit. I mean, this is a very elite unit of Mordor units, but and they're obviously very expensive, but they're worth their price. These guys do a serious ton of damage. However, it is again pretty scary to bring halberds in the modern meta now that the archers are firing so quickly. 4 units of archers can definitely decimate a halberd unit before you even know what hit them. So something you have to be very, very careful of. But as you can see, the left flank has completely broken now for the men of Dale, and it's basically a couple units of Dale, me versus the Elves at this point. Gondor don't really have anything left besides a couple units of infantry and obviously their unit of Citadel Guard, which are going to be impossible to kill. Dale are throwing in some of their Vineland Guard as well. And this is just an all-out brawl to the death now. Both sides have lost a severe amount of men. My cavalry is extremely depleted. I still have my general on 55 men, which is obviously absolutely amazing. That definitely could win us this battle. Bounce power is looking very good. But again, the elves are still the elves, and a lot of my infantry are very depleted. Like, that's the problem with Mordor, is they have a very good initial start to the battle, but as soldiers start to get tired, as men, as orcs, start to lose soldiers in their battalion, that's when the trouble really starts to kick down. And obviously against the elves are obviously a unit that can fight in them late games. You can see right now I'm just really trying to clear off the flanks. I don't want these archers coming back and just causing a big nuisance. Again, able to use my numbers to my advantage, able to get an entire envelopment with my Uruk Throng onto these Noldrin archers. But they're elves, that's what you got to expect now. I'm surrounding these guys with fairly decent units, and even then, this elven unit is going to do a decent job. We've even got some cavalry set up, some more swords to front of battle. I get a really nice charge here onto the shock infantry. I send them absolutely flying, and yeah, do some serious damage to them, which is good, because these elven shock units are scary, so I do not want to stay in combat with them, at all. So pulling out of that is a very good setup. There's even another unit over here. Yeah, there's a lot of Noldrin swords, which is just super scary. I'm going to come back around now for another charge as well. Smash into these guys. Just looking to try and break them as best as possible. You got some more swords. And yeah, you can see I'm just really using my numbers to my advantage here as best as I can. But over on this side, my men are running thin. The numbers are starting to dwell. And you can even look at the bounce power as well at this point in the battle. You can see that we started off with over 2,000 more men than our opponents. And Gondor isn't exactly a small faction, It's just the elves really do make that, that difference. And I personally, as I keep on saying, really do dig it. I think it's a great way to balance out the game and give the elves that elite feel. Because, yeah, again, this Shipwright Noble unit is just racking up kill after kill after kill. Up to 166 kills. There's nothing here that can really kill this unit, which is just funny, but it's not what it should be. Oh, yeah, as well as that, I just lost half my general unit right here. I tried to charge into the back of these Mordor Nobles. They turned at the last second and were able to get their spears down. Absolutely massacred my general, down to 19 now. And all of a sudden, losing that general, or that general bodyguard, is pretty goddamn scary. You can see my orcs are starting to run out of that quality, you know. I'm starting to break across the board. The elves are just, you know, able to really do that damage. They get a super nice charge into the back of these Shipwright Nobles, and realistically, this is what I should have done from the start. Just gone after this unit, hammer and anvil, instead of going after them halberds. The halberds are just going to be too hard to kind of pin down. I luckily do get my my guards of the teeth into them though, which is good. The guards of the teeth will be a good matchup, and again with my extra numbers, you know, 110 elite orcs in this unit, I'm going to be something that is able to take care of that, which is very nice. Again, going to be kind of just ping-ponging my way through up to 250 kills on that general unit. However, more of these Shipwright Nobles are now moving in. I was luckily just enough to break some of these elves on the left-hand side. However, across the board, the elves are fighting hard. A lot of my soldiers are now breaking. They do come back, but yeah, throwing them into this fight is going to be so important. I'm also going to be bringing my general way over here as well, trying to get rid of this unit, because we do still have some ammunition on these marksmen of Dale, and if we can free up some ammunition on these guys, we can use this ammunition to actually kill the halberds for the elves. And that's going to be pretty important. So I throw my general, and I think at this point my general is still alive, but he's going to die momentarily. But yeah, breaking my unit of elves is great, because again, as I said, it frees up this unit of marksmen of Dale to then come down and shoot these guys in the back. I've also completely broken the Gondorian flank as well, which is going to allow me to move around. But again, the problem is, I don't really have the quality to deal with these Shipwright Nobles, you know? These guys are very strong, and the Citadel Guard as well. So because I don't, our main goal is really at this point is just to try and rout the enemy by outflanking them, getting them exhausted, and then winning the battle that way. My general is going to come in here and try and free up this new section for my orc warriors. Again, just trying to do as much damage to the Gondorians and try and break them as best as I can. Because right now it is really a morale game. And luckily we're getting some arrow fire into the back of these guys. I'm pushing forward my halberds as well. I really do want to engage them. But as you can see, these Shipwright Nobles are up to 230 kills. We saw them a moment ago, and they were at 160. So you can already see just the pure amount of damage that them units can do. We've enveloped our opponents. Our cavalry is moving around, and I do actually get a really nice charge off here onto the halberds before they can turn around. Unfortunately, though, I'm embedding myself on this unit. My general does actually break. And at this point of the battle, I'm like, oh no, my general was broken. That's going to be a big shock in morale. You can already start to see this right flank almost immediately breaking. Even though we do have everyone else surrounded, like over on this side, I've got the entire enemy army completely surrounded. But losing my general could have flicked that battle. They've managed to also go ahead and get a nice little charge into the back of my guards of the teeth as well, whose numbers are dropping fairly quickly. But at this point, the enemy morale does start to dip, and we do end up winning the battle. But my god, that was very close towards the end. And there's also a unit of Noldrian swords right here. Tut tut, Pope. Tut tut. That unit could have made all the difference. But yeah, a really close battle towards the end, and hopefully that was a good showcase of the new updates for the battle system in Rise of Mordor. As I said, I'll make sure to link both the Discord and also their YouTube channel down below. I highly recommend. I think they were showing some more campaign stuff off on their YouTube channel last night in a live stream, so definitely worth just following them and going in and, you know, keeping them motivated to keep on working hard. And yeah, definitely the live streams are absolutely awesome. So yeah, if you take a look at the kills on my side, like my orc warriors did a really good job. They were able to pin down my opponents and get some decent kills as well, mainly because they were able to kind of like leech off of the soldiers flanking and really devastate the unit. But yeah, I mean, Mordor is a very strong faction. I can't wait until they add in trolls for them. I know I always say that, but I can't wait for that. But yeah, obviously my general doing amazing. The guards of the teeth, real MVPs as well. Cavalry didn't do great, but that's because I misplayed them pretty massively throughout that battle. My ally J-Monster, again, his archer's doing pretty good. 133 kills and a handful of these guys, and also his Vineland Guard as well. His cavalry just could not stand up to the elves one bit. And look at that, the elves. Like, this is exactly what you want to see from an elven faction. Like, not a lot of units, but the units that you do have, 300 kills, 300 kills, 200 kills, 200 kills. You have the cavalry doing good, the archers doing good, the Nordrian nobles doing a decent job. Pretty nice indeed. And then finally for Gondor, this Princess Coast Guard getting 200 kills as well. It's not too bad, not too shabby. And a unit of Gondor swords with over 300, so definitely nice there. If you guys enjoy this battle, make sure you drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.